viewpoints which come up with Google Maps, and they're both off in that direction. Seems more logical to me to walk down the path. Very much got a village feel to it, this road. We're sort of on the edge of the town, but we're not. In Ukraine, they are resourceful with tyres. If you can't use them on the car, why not put them to another use? Give them another purpose. These flowers almost look like they could play music, don't they? Which would be fitting if they could, and they were placed a little bit closer to the fortress. Then you could imagine knights on horses riding back from battle. Pesky trees. Love trees until they get in the way. I'm not expecting much of a view, so any view at all is a bonus. There's a little church down there, right in the centre of picture now, hidden almost in the trees. And this is a much better view of the fortress than I was expecting. I wonder what it's like in winter with the snow. Isn't it funny? We always want more. I bet it looks even more magical. Now if I walk down here, it looks like I'm getting closer, doesn't it? And I am, as far as a bird's eye view looking down on me walking towards the fortress is concerned. But the reality is, I'm not going to get anywhere near. I can't ford the river running below. As I've said before, the view with the eyes is so much closer than the view through the camera, what I'm recording. Therefore, I'm actually enjoying the experience of seeing the fortress right now a whole lot more than you are. But that's good, because you want to be able to, at some point, see the place in the flesh, in the stone, for yourself, don't you? I'm only just giving a sort of travelogue of my escapades, if you can call them escapades. I always suggest come and see for yourself when you feel it's appropriate. There's a little footbridge, and I really wasn't expecting it. I had no idea, which is, well, it's a surprise, and it's making me feel I really need to go across that footbridge at some point, which I will do in due course. See if I can stand in the shade a bit, because I was going to mention the sort of feeling that just came over me back there. It happens very rarely, but just occasionally I get a feeling of, it's not hunger, it's something else, and it feels a bit sort of funny around my jowls. And I think it's associated with the need to have some sugar. I remember I worked at a place where a girl I went to school with actually was working by complete chance. Trudy Maskell. There, I'm giving you a name check. Trudy Maskell. She married and became Trudy Bush. And I remember her saying that she had a low sugar count or low blood pressure or something. Anyway, she needed occasionally to have a sugar boost. Otherwise, she would feel a little bit woozy. And I think with her, it happened more often. Certainly, with me, it's just so very infrequently. It's hardly worth mentioning. But I'm just feeling it right now. I'm not feeling like I'm not feeling dizzy or that I'm going to fall over. But I'm just feeling a little bit as though I need to be a bit careful and perhaps go back and grab a quick bite of a chocolate bar or something of the sort to re-establish the equilibrium in my blood sugar or whatever it is, I don't know. But it seems as though back in the day, 100 years ago, I would grab a Snickers bar and eat the Snickers bar, and I would be back to normal, right as rain, after doing that. I shouldn't say right as rain, should I? Because the clouds have just covered over the sun. And you know what that could potentially mean. Gosh, I'll tell you what, though, just by complete chance, it really is. Can't say, oh, yes, I planned this out. I knew exactly where I was going. Let me take you on this walk. I'm an excellent tour guide. None of that. None of that is valid at all. Just by complete chance. I guess you can't go wrong in Kamyanets Podilsky. Not in this location anyway. The accommodation, rooms with a fortress view, which is slightly misleading. It really is good if you want to get this kind of view of the fortress. I'm trying to ignore the fact that this is a very wobbly wooden footbridge. Very wobbly, but luckily we're not very high up, so nothing's triggering vertigo or anything of that sort. I hope this is not all just my head in the shot. We need to make sure it's about the fortress. Wobble, wobble, wobble. And we've nearly made it. Oh, suddenly it's got all bouncy like a trampoline. Funny thing is, it's quite fun. The end bit I enjoyed. It's a bit bouncy, but I like it. Dobry den. Look where it leads us to. That wooden church we saw on the way down here. A gathering of tyres. Now, if I worked in the circus, I could probably place one on top of the other and clamber aboard all four to elevate my position. And certainly, this fortress is worth viewing from every vantage point you can take. I think you'd agree with me on that point, wouldn't you? Don't you think so? Again, if you've got the extra day or three, I've booked for 4 nights here. I'm very glad I did. Today, weather's been against me, but come the late afternoon, I can get out and see what you're seeing right now. Oh, bugger, the rain's come back. Well, I've been warned with that very brief little bit of rain. Ought to be careful. Perhaps it's time I head back to I was going to say hostel, but to the accommodation with my private room. But I can't help myself now I'm here. Because you never know, tomorrow, despite the forecast, might be even worse. It's an 18th century listed building by the seams of things. So sometime in the 1700s this was originally built. Looks like the roof's been replaced, and obviously you'd expect that and more than once, but these old timbers definitely look as you'd expect. But what's underneath I'm a little more dubious about with the mortar and this. Yeah, is it something which has been repositioned and was originally standing somewhere else, or could it be that they've just been thrown a load of modern stonework and mortar in underneath to support it, like a pair of carefully placed hands? Certainly chose a good spot to put the castle. Lovely wooden church. And I'm sure it's all locked up. Yes, it very much looks how it is, doesn't it? But I've got to try. Mind your head. Gosh, that's very low. Yeah. It's all locked up. It's obviously all locked up, but I still had to try just because it was too good a potential opportunity to see something fabulous. And there's a wee pup. Breathing softly. Don't be alarmed, that pup is alive. Underneath the bench. Hello, pupster. So there's a puppy and perhaps mummy and daddy as well. Nice to see a little family sticking together. And perhaps because they hang out at the church, it means they don't get too much hassle and they do get some food brought to them. Righty-o, where do I want to go? Good-day, good-o, where do we want to go? Now I'm going to go back, I think, the way I came because I'm sensing this on-off rain is likely to be on again sooner rather than later. What do you think? I think it worked out rather well. Little bit of walkie, little bit of talkie. And I nearly forgot to say, if you enjoyed today's first full day in Kamyanets Podilsky, rain and everything, come along for the next trip. Tomorrow we see the fortress for real. Well, this is real, but you know what I mean, up close and personal, and it's going to be fabulous. I'm sure it's going to be fabulous. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ciao for now.